Why do some organizations flourish for decades, navigating through economic depressions, technological revolutions, and global crises, while others, even those that once seemed invincible, crumble at the first sign of real trouble? The answer does not lie in their profit margins, their marketing budgets, or the brilliance of their latest product launch. Instead, the difference between a legacy brand and a flash in the pan is found in the fundamental mindset of its leadership. Most leaders are playing a game they don't fully understand, and as a result, they are losing. In this exploration of modern leadership and organizational strategy, we are going to pull back the curtain on the infinite game. You will learn why the traditional way of viewing business, as a series of wins and losses, quarters and fiscal years, is not only outdated but actively dangerous to the health of a company. We will preview a new way of thinking that prioritizes longevity over short-term gains and resilience over immediate dominance. This journey is about more than just surviving. It is about thriving in an unpredictable world. We will look at how the greatest leaders in history managed to inspire loyalty that lasts a lifetime and built cultures that can withstand the most brutal market shifts. You will discover the 5 pillars of an infinite mindset and how they can be applied to any endeavor, whether you are running a multinational corporation or a small local startup. The relevance of this topic has never been greater. In an era of rapid disruption, where the rules of the game are constantly being rewritten by technology and social change, the ability to play with an infinite perspective is the ultimate competitive advantage. By the end of this book, you will have the tools to transform your approach to leadership, moving away from the stress of winning and toward the fulfillment of building something that truly matters. This is your invitation to step out of the narrow confines of the finite and into the limitless potential of the infinite. This book serves as a comprehensive guide to shifting your strategic perspective from the finite to the infinite. To begin, we must establish a high-level understanding of what this shift entails. At its core, the book explores the fundamental difference between 2 types of games. Finite games like football or chess have known players, fixed rules, and a clear endpoint where someone is declared the winner. The infinite game, however, is the game of business and life itself. In this game, there are no winners, only those who drop out because they lack the resources or the will to continue. Throughout these pages, we will explore 5 core themes that serve as the foundation for an infinite mindset. First, we delve into the concept of a just cause, a vision so compelling that people are willing to sacrifice their interests to see it realized. We will then examine the necessity of trusting teams, where psychological safety allows for innovation and honesty. We will look at worthy rivals as a means of self-improvement rather than enemies to be defeated. We will also cover existential flexibility, the ability to make a radical strategic shift to stay true to your cause. Finally, we will discuss the courage to lead, the internal fortitude required to make decisions that favor the long-term health of the organization over short-term rewards. Expect to be challenged. This book is not about quick fixes or hacks for your next quarterly report. It is a deep dive into the philosophy of endurance. By understanding these concepts, you will be prepared to lead your organization into a future that is as rewarding as it is sustainable. To understand the true nature of success in the business world, one must first recognize that business is not a finite game. In a finite game, the boundaries are clear, the players are registered, and the objective is to reach the end of the time limit with more points than the opponent. But business has no clock. There is no such thing as winning business. You can be the leader for a moment, you can have the highest revenue for a year, but the game continues long after you are gone. This is why business leaders must adopt what is known as an infinite mindset. Without it, they risk making decisions that satisfy the present but mortgage the future. To play the infinite game effectively, there are 5 essential practices that a leader must master. These are advancing a just cause, building trusting teams, studying your worthy rivals, preparing for existential flexibility, and demonstrating the courage to lead. Among these, perhaps the most critical is the development of a just cause. A just cause is the why behind your work. It is an inspirational vision of a future state that does not yet exist, a future so appealing that people are willing to work toward it even if they won't live to see its full realization. Think of Bill Gates's original vision for Microsoft, a computer on every desk and in every home. At the time, this was a bold, idealistic, and inclusive vision. It wasn't about selling software. It was about empowering individuals through technology. It gave employees a sense of purpose that transcended their daily tasks. When a company lacks a just cause, it often falls into the trap of the moonshot. Many organizations create mission statements that focus on being the biggest, the best, or the global leader. These are not just causes, they are internal goals. They are finite. A classic example of this failure is the GPS device company Garmin. For years, Garmin dominated the market for dedicated GPS units. Their mission statement was typical of many corporate entities. We will be the global leader in every market we serve, and our products will be sought after for their compelling design, superior quality, and best value. Notice the focus of Garmin's mission. It is entirely inward-facing. It is about Garmin being the leader and Garmin's products being the best. There is no mention of the ultimate benefit to the customer or a vision for a better world. This inward focus led to a dangerous tunnel vision. Around 2007, the world changed. Smartphones began offering GPS capabilities through various apps. Because Garmin was focused on being the leader in their specific hardware market rather than helping people navigate the world, which would have been a just cause, they ignored the threat. They stubbornly stuck to making their own devices while the world moved toward mobile software. Consequently, Garmin's value plummeted to a third of what it was in 2007. They were playing a finite game, trying to protect their lead, while the game itself had evolved. Contrast this with the story of Victorinox, the legendary makers of the Swiss Army knife. For over a century, the Swiss Army knife was an icon of utility. However, the company faced a catastrophic crisis following the events of September 11, 2001. New airline security regulations banned small knives from carry-on luggage overnight. For Victorinox, this was devastating. Prior to 9/11, the Swiss Army knife accounted for a staggering 95% of their total sales. Most companies would have panicked, laid off half their staff, or eventually folded. But CEO Carl Elsner did not think in fiscal quarters. He famously stated that any business destined to last for centuries will inevitably experience massive ups and downs. His philosophy was simple: we think in generations. Because the leadership at Victorinox was playing the infinite game, they didn't see the 9/11 ban as the end of the company. They saw it as a moment to adapt. They used their brand's reputation for quality and utility to branch into entirely new markets, including fragrances, high-end watches, and travel gear. Today, Victorinox is a much more resilient and diversified company. The Swiss Army knife, once their sole lifeline, now accounts for only 35% of their revenue. They didn't just survive the disruption, they used it to build a stronger foundation for the next generation. This shift in perspective also requires us to look at the history of capitalism itself. The version of capitalism many of us are familiar with today, one that prioritizes shareholder value above all else, is actually a relatively recent invention, popularized in the 1970s. The original vision of capitalism was much healthier, focusing on the long-term stability of the community and the well-being of the employees. An infinite leader understands that to build a lasting business, they must put the will of their employees before the earnings of the next quarter. When you build a culture of trust, you create an environment where people feel safe to take risks, admit mistakes, and support one another. This leads to better business practices and more ethical conduct across the board. In a trusting team, people aren't looking over their shoulders. They are looking toward the just cause. Furthermore, an infinite mindset changes how you view your competition. Instead of competitors to be beaten, you see worthy rivals. These are other players in the game who do something better than you do. Instead of trying to crush them, you study them to learn how you can improve. This mindset allows for existential flexibility. The ability to realize that your current business model is no longer the best way to advance your just cause and having the bravery to change it completely. Ultimately, it takes immense courage to lead this way. It is often easier to follow the crowd, chase the short-term bonus, and play the finite game. But for those who want to build something that lasts, the infinite mindset is the only path forward. As we conclude this exploration of the infinite game, it is important to take a moment to reflect on the legacy you wish to leave behind. We have seen that the most successful and enduring organizations are those that look beyond the immediate horizon. They are led by individuals who understand that business is not a race to be won, but a journey to be sustained. The key insights we have covered, from the necessity of a just cause to the power of trusting teams and worthy rivals, all point toward a single truth: longevity is a choice. The practical takeaways for your own leadership journey are clear. Start by identifying your just cause. Is it something that truly inspires you and your team? Is it resilient enough to withstand the inevitable shifts in technology and society? Move away from the generic, "we want to be the best" mission statements and toward a vision that offers a tangible benefit to the world. Next, evaluate your relationship with your rivals. Stop seeing them as enemies. Instead, acknowledge their strengths and use them as a mirror to see where your own organization can grow. This shift alone can reduce the stress of competition and turn it into a fuel for innovation. Finally, remember that building a culture of trust is not a luxury. It is a requirement for survival. When your people know that you value their well-being more than the bottom line, they will give you their best work, their most creative ideas, and their unwavering loyalty. This knowledge matters because the world needs more infinite thinkers. We face challenges that cannot be solved with short-term fixes or finite strategies. Whether it is in business, politics, or our personal lives, the ability to think in generations rather than quarters is what will ultimately allow us to build a better, more stable future. As you move forward, keep the infinite horizon in view. The game is still going and your role in it is just beginning. What will you build that lasts? For more book summaries for free, install Zyroverse.